What should my ask slide look like? I've seen hundreds of pitch decks, and nearly everyone gets their ask slide wrong. And interestingly enough, nearly everyone makes the exact same mistake with their ask slide. I don't want this to happen to you. In today's video, I'll explain what's wrong with your ask slide, what's missing from your ask slide, and what your ask slide should look like. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. And let's start with what's wrong with your ask slide. The classic ad slide that almost everyone uses is the last slide in their deck. And it looks something like this. Let's break this down. Just about everything is wrong. Yes, you should tell investors how much money you are raising, but everything else is out of place. Let's start with the timing of the ask. Imagine you're in your first meeting with an investor. It's going well. And then you drop this ask slide on them at the end of your pitch. The timing is all wrong. Do you really think an investor is going to write a check right then and there? Of course not. The rest of the ask slide is just plain garbage. I would never do any of this. I'll explain how I would construct my ask slide later in the video. But for now, let's look at the problems. The problems start with the suggested investment percentage. You're making a classic mistake by suggesting the investor get 10% of the company for the $500,000 investment. In any negotiation, you always want the other side to go first. You can always reject the offer you're getting. Remember, investors negotiate deals like this for a living. You don't. You're more likely to get the valuation wrong than right. So you'll just do yourself harm by going first. The rest of the slide is the pie chart showing the use of funds. You've just presented a 10 to 15 slide pitch of your company. You've explained what your company is going to do and how you're going to do it. Do investors really care about some percentages in a pie chart? Of course they don't. It's useless information that adds nothing to your pitch. All it takes is one investor asking you the question of how do you know that you're going to spend 13% of the money we're giving on Cap X? The answer is you don't know. My point is, don't set yourself up for questions you likely can't have answers to. Now let's move on to what's missing from your ask slide. Besides the amount of money you're raising, everything else an investor needs to understand your financing needs is missing. For example, investors will have no idea how much money you believe your startup will need over the life of your company and when you expect to need this money. Investors have no idea how much money you expect your startup to need to get to cash flow break even. Investors have no idea how long you expect it to take for your company to get to cash flow break even. Investors have no idea what you expect your revenue to be when you get to break even. These measures are important to investors, not because they expect you to get these estimates exactly correct. They don't. These measures are important because investors do want to understand how you financially think about your company. They want to know that you have your head screwed on correctly. This leads to our last point. What should your ask slide look like? Remember the criterion we laid out in the last section for your ask slide. It should contain how much money you are raising in this round of funding, when you're going to raise your next round of funding, how much funding you'll need over the life of your company, when you expect to get to cash flow break even, what will your revenue be when you get to cash flow break even? Here's the example of what a great Ask slide looks like. There it is. That's right. It's a well-done financial slide. A well-done financial slide like LinkedIn's Series B financial slide answers all the questions an investor wants in an Ask slide. Most importantly, the Ask is clearly spelled out in the row that says investment. You can see it right there. Then it's clear how much money your company will need after this round of funding. In LinkedIn's case, they expect not to need another round of funding. The cash flow from operations line shows exactly when they will get the cash flow positive, and the revenue row shows what the revenue will be. This is great for an investor because they have the complete picture of how you see your company evolving. Plus, they can see what you believe your financials needs are. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. You want to always make things easy for your investors. I hope it's clear now why the traditional Ask slide doesn't help investors. Remember, you're in high dollar sales when you're raising money. In any sales process, especially one where you're selling a percentage of your company in return for millions of dollars, your goal is to remove as much risk as possible for investors from the deal. And any slide in your pitch deck that doesn't help investors better understand your company is a slide that hurts your chances of raising money because you're not reducing investor risk. In fact, you're increasing investor risk because you're not clearly explaining to investors how you see your company doing financially. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And if you haven't already, then join my free group of startup CEOs called Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focused on growing their early stage startups and startup CEOs raising money for their early stage startups. Click the link below this video to join. And by the way, it's free. Can't get a better deal than that. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.